Okay,
Thanks.
so the first question, what would you recommend to others considering consulting or are already consultants? Shireen?
I think for me, the first thing would be to take the first step and go for it. To take the risks, there's a lot of, one needs to really just take the opportunities that come your way. There's going to be opportunities and one doesn't know how they're going to come out. So really take the opportunity, step in, no matter what it is. Say yes more than no.
Yeah, absolutely. Dondi, would you like to add anything to that?
My recommendation is to be open-minded, to be open. Even you are behind everything, even you are behind the wall. You know, there is a wall between the East European countries and from the Western countries. By using the net, be brave and believe in yourself and open your window, open your mind, open your classroom window and try to open your students' mind to the whole world. And after these steps, we can travel around the world. So don't be afraid. Just be brave and be open-minded. Try to accept everything. Try to use everything. Try to step over your comfort zone and try to do everything. It's very difficult for you. And you can win the whole world for your classroom and for your small children.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to echo some of the things that both Shireen and Dondi have said. Shireen was talking about taking risks. I think it's really important to understand that, yes, as teachers, we are educators in a classroom. That's how we've been trained. However, there's a big wide world out there for education. There's lots of teachers who need to hear and understand the experiences that we have as individuals, and there is value to that. Coupled with what Dondi was saying about traveling, from a personal experience, I've tried to combine over the past few years the traveling and the development as a consultant. So the ability to kind of travel to a city. So in April, I went to New York, for example. I went on my own. I left my family behind for a week with the idea that I would network and go into schools just to see what schools were about, just to get a feeling of what things are. Not necessarily telling anybody that I was looking at developing as a consultant, but just taking a bit of a risk to say, you know what, I'm just visiting a school. I'm in New York anyway. I'm networking anyway. And you could almost do that anywhere. If you're going on holiday to Bali and you're a teacher and you're looking at consulting, have a look at a couple of schools in Bali that are close to where you're staying and just ask them if you can go for a visit. The more schools you get into, the more teachers you speak, the more you understand the type of consultancy you can offer, because it starts to connect with you as a person and you're part of ecosystems that you're not expected.
I'd say to people who are thinking of beginning is to find your you, find your niche, find a thing that you can do really well, that you can speak on for hours, that you're passionate about. For me, it's mathematics, and I really like teaching math. I really enjoyed working with learners who don't like math, because I like to encourage them to see the value in it. I had the opportunity when I was still in the classroom to engage with a private company in Edinburgh, Scotland, that was looking at developing further their math plan for the program that they built. And they had teacher advisory groups. This was back in 2012 or 13, I think it was. And we would go every few months. They would have different groups of teachers, and I attended a few of them. At the end of that time, and in the middle of this time too, that the company visited schools across Edinburgh. So they wanted to see how their product was impacting, what changes they could make. And they talked with the kids, they talked with the teachers, and they had regular feedback, which was lovely. That progressed. And beyond the discussion we had as a teacher advisory group, they also asked me to do some development work for their curriculum. That developed. And then one day when they came for a school visit, they asked, would I like to come work with them? So it was really a case of beginning something with something that I knew and am passionate about, and then I shared it. You can't be a consultant if you want to keep it to yourself. You have to be willing, you have to be ready and able and wanting to share. Without sharing your you, no one will hear of you, no one will see you, and no one will want to know you. You have to get out there, like Sharon was saying, and take a first step, but know what you're opening up about yourself in that first step, so that if someone does approach you, you can talk right away, and you can share immediately. If they have a problem, you can offer a solution or suggestion from your experience or from your knowledge base, and you can know that you're right. Beyond that too, you'll come to some companies perhaps that have their way. You need to know communication, and you can know in your head they're not doing it right, and know that they aren't. There's telling them you're wrong, or there's telling them, have you thought about this? And that way of sharing a viewpoint that's contradictory or contrary to what they have without being insulting is really important. You want to build a relationship. You don't want to come off as some big-headed know-it-all, although you might know an awful lot. They're saying that I know more than you, and they're saying, how can I share what I know with you? How can we both grow together? So they're beyond, again, just that idea about you are the best in your field. You don't need to tell everyone that. What you need to do is make them better. And that would be a good thing to do. Without the confidence and the knowledge base, I'd recommend you stay as a teacher until you have that confidence, because you need to be secure in yourself.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree to that. I think for someone who's just starting this journey, when I started to use Twitter, it was properly just about a year ago. I had very little. I mean, my network was only based in Dubai. A few friends that I knew in the UK. I had like 350 followers. That just was organic over. I think I had 70 tweets over 5 years. I didn't even know how to use it. I didn't understand. But once I started to understand what others were doing, most of which are from America. I mean, I have to admit, on Twitter, when I started to discover people like Alice Keeley, Brian Aspinall, David Burgess, or all these people, George Kurikos, who does innovation, and all of a sudden I was like, whoa, these teachers they're just standard teachers doing more, and you're watching their journey on Twitter, and they're posting 3-4 times a day, and then you think, whoa, I could do it. I could do a little bit of that, right? And then you kind of start to realize that people get more traction by doing things. So I'd say if I started around November time, and by December, 3 weeks after, I realized if I wanted to gain any type of traction, I needed to host an ed chat, because this was the kind of thing that a lot of these kind of consultants were doing, and free thinkers of education, because it kind of gains traction, and it shows a little bit like what Michael was saying. It almost shows, it gives you a presence in that network, because you're showing, I can lead in something, I can lead a conversation. So yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with the community thing. How about everyone else? Does anyone else want to add to that?
I think for me, it's been so important. First steps is to gather the people around me who are going to be supporting me on this journey, and not necessarily people who are going to all agree with me, but people who are going to stretch me, and people who are going to support me, but are going to challenge me to reach those borders and step beyond. So knowing my people, getting my tribe as such. Dondi, I don't know if you would like to add?
For me, the social media is not only to support me, but to find the right solution, where to go. It gives me the way where to go on, because I work on my own. I don't have any supporters, any organization behind me. So social media is very important for me. I know who to follow, what to do, which project to join. So it is maybe the only one or the main way to follow for a small teacher like me.
Well, you can't be that small if you're here. You've obviously made some kind of impact if you've managed to get yourself here, Dondi. So Don't underestimate yourself.